When building commander decks, we generally look for the most powerful and synergistic cards to use, pulling from vast online resources or what we have in our collections. But more and more, there are auto-includes for certain decks. Black is notorious for having interesting graveyard shenanigans and devastating creature removal, and these 3 Semi-Jank black cards will show you why. Often, getting a creature from a graveyard onto the battlefield will come with a downside, be it sacrificing a creature or an opponent removing your target in response. For a little more mana, you get a much bigger bang for your buck. Dredge the Mire is a sorcery that costs 3 black and reads, each opponent chooses a creature card in their graveyard. Put those cards onto the battlefield under your control. Dredge the Mire having the word chooses on it means it can perform better than a reanimate or sepulchral primordial in some cases. The latter has a similar effect, but as it has you choosing your targets, your opponents have a chance to remove your choice from the graveyard. In a 4-player game, getting 3 creatures from your opponent's bins is sensational, and doing so for just 4 mana is nothing to laugh at. Maybe your opponents will shrug and bless your field with a Suck or a Tribe Elder, or perhaps with a Soul Warden, but no matter what you gain, it will be at your opponent's expense. A fairly new card, Dredge the Mire is a heavily underrated fit in graveyard shenanigan decks. Creature removal in black is generally single targeted, and those that aren't require an extra investment from you, such as payment of life. But what to do if a board presence of mass indestructibility stands in your way? Allow yourself to ascend past the small time kill spells and decimate your opponents for just 3 mana. Bonus Hunger is an instant that costs 2 black and reads Ascend. If you control 10 or more permanents, you get the city's blessing for the rest of the game. Each opponent sacrifices a creature. If you have the city's blessing, instead, each opponent sacrifices half the creatures they control, rounded up. With Ascend being easy to accomplish in Commander, you're rarely going to have opponents sacrifice 1 creature. We know sacrifice is useful to maneuver around Indestructible, and sure it's only half of their board, but this effect only hitting your opponents and being at instant speed is fantastic. Cast Bonus Hunger before your turn and untap to a much less threatening board state. Nothing feels worse than facing down defeat with a handful of sorcery speed tricks. Keeping mana up to bluff an out is much better when you actually have an out. Take a look at Stunning Reversal. Stunning Reversal is an instant that costs 3 black and reads, the next time you would lose the game this turn, instead draw 7 cards and your life total becomes 1. Exile Stunning Reversal. This is Black's version of Angel's Grace, although lacking split second, and costing more. Look, just hear me out. In the final stages of the game, when lethal damage is about to pummel you, it can be invaluable to have a spell like Stunning Reversal to save you, and 4 mana isn't a lot to ask if the alternative is losing altogether. Sometimes not winning doesn't have to mean losing completely, as you can definitely use this card's draw 7 upside to steal the game back to a much more even state. Stunning Reversal should definitely be played in more decks, as there are many times where I've had garbage creatures in hand while my opponent is laying the beatdown on me. Bear in mind your playgroup may have a different environment to mine, and I only suggest these cards based on my experience, so these cards may or may not be useful for you. I do hope you enjoyed those 3 Semi-Jank black cards for Commander that you may not have thought about before. What do you think of these cards? Are there any other weird cards you know of? Leave a comment below. If you enjoyed this video, please hit like and consider subscribing too. Next time, we'll explore 3 angry red cards.